We left you in the last episode having spent the night at a free park-up next to the canal. And unfortunately, today sees us having a bit of a stressful time navigating the traffic through our first French city.
Can't go in. Oh,
However, the first part of the day unravels an amazing and unexpected story that links the dedication and a compassionate approach of modern-day science to heroes of the past. Welcome to the channel. That's Harry, our campervan, and that's me, Jane, and here's Stu, and we love to share with you our van life adventures. Yeah, it's a bit confusing, isn't it, because we've never seen.
No, it says 90, so it's like...
We're just getting to grips with the national speed limits that cut in when the end of the village or town signs appear.
I just don't understand how you know when it's in if there's no signs.
Well, we understand the yellow triangle now, don't we? The diamond. That was a roundabout.
Was it?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Well, after meeting the morning traffic, we settle down, passing through quaint French towns and villages. And along the way, as ever, the journey reveals unexpected views, and we just love educating ourselves no matter what the subject is. So we find the basic who and what. And this turns out to be a multinational company called Roquette, and they produce products from processing maize, wheat, potato and corn. Well, now you know as much as we do. This is our first World War I cemetery, which unfortunately are plentiful in this part of France. Over 80 members of the 61st Division of the British Army are buried here, following the Battle of Fromelles in the First World War. Now this was the start for us to follow a chain of breadcrumbs of a story that unpacked itself over the next 3 hours of the day. And this is a great example of the drifting van life that we love, simply following what you find right in front of you. This is the First World War Australia Memorial Park. This lies at the point where the German lines were situated, and it was where bravery, friendship and ultimately tragedy occurred.
It was here on the 19th of July 1916 that the Battle of Fromelles commenced. Australian and British troops along this area advanced towards these German lines, and where huge casualties and fatalities occurred. This was the Australians' first and most disastrous battle on the Western Front.
And it's really hard and difficult to visualise that human suffering. Today there are still some surviving German battlefield fortifications, as well as this fantastic sculpture called cobber, which is an Australian term for friend or mate. The statue depicts Sergeant Simon Fraser, an example of those who tirelessly helped with the rescuing of their wounded comrades, who apparently could be heard calling out, "Don't forget me, cobber." Sadly, Sergeant Fraser never made it back to Australia. There is a second sculpture in Melbourne, and if we'd known about it while we were there, we would have visited it.
The German front lines were there, and the Allies was over this way.
Just down the road is the VC Corner Cemetery. And it's here where the Allies' front line existed at that fateful time. 410 Australian soldiers' graves are buried here, all of which could not be identified. The memorial, however, records all the names who lost their life in this area. All the war grave land is generously given by the French people. It's tragic and fitting at the same time that something so beautiful can exist following something that is so sad. And somehow it seems fitting in this rural setting that a working stable is next to the cemetery, as horses were used extensively in World War I, so to see them in a relaxed setting is really peaceful. Picking up on the Battle of Fromelles story, it led us to visiting a small museum in the village of Fromelles and to the adjacent connected Pheasant Wood Cemetery. Little did we know that this would captivate us based on the reason that the museum is here. The small, well laid out museum provides you with a self-guided audio tour that takes you around the displays. It gives you an insight into the Battle of Fromelles and the context of the overall war, as well as what life was like in both the German and the Allied trenches.
So the Germans apparently built more structured trenches at Fromelles, whereas the Allies were more wanted to take the ground in advance, so they didn't spend as much time building, so there's more temporary structures. That was quite heavy.
But that, for us, is not the story that makes this place so fascinating. And it was built on the back of archaeological works performed as recently as 2009, where they had found and excavated several mass burial pits dug by the Germans at the nearby Pheasant Wood. The Germans had buried the bodies respectfully after the battle, treating them like their own soldiers. In a total, 250 British and Australian soldiers were recovered over several painstaking years. Using modern science and DNA testing, this led to the identification of many of the soldiers found. And this helped surviving family members come to terms with their loss. And the bodies were all reburied in a newly formed cemetery. A truly remarkable story of compassion and science, and we highly recommend that you seek out this museum.
They have this great digital display room that shows the timeline of the battle, along with an audio explanation bringing it to life in our headsets. At the start of the battle, the Allies start to cross no man's land towards the German lines, taking heavy casualties on the way. They reach the German lines and start to take over the trenches. The British front lines make advances in their sector, but soon start to get pushed back. Similarly, the Australian sector, having made similar gains, start to get pushed back by the German counterattack at midnight. The trenches were now full of close hand-to-hand combat with rifle butts, knives, grenades between the Australian and German Bavarian forces. You can only imagine how frightening this must have been. By dawn, the Australians were now surrounded. They were ordered to withdraw, and this added even more casualties as they withdrew to the Allied lines they came from. The coming days and nights, Australian soldiers would set out from their trenches at considerable risk to themselves to recover their comrades, or cobbers. The casualties on all sides show how futile trench warfare was.
There are lots of personal stories, all of which draw you into what a huge loss it was, and the museum tells their stories well. At the end, we walk around the cemetery, which for us brings on even more of a connection to these really brave 250 soldiers.
So these are the graves of the 250 unearthed in the mass grave, some of which are known, some are unknown. It's amazing to think that they only discovered these 250 bodies in 2000, I think it was 9, 2008, 2009. It's just unbelievable. And then the lengths they've gone to find out who they are, down to the names, taking the DNA. It's just fantastic work, and obviously great comfort for the families, I guess. Obviously there's a lot of bodies over in the previous cemetery we came to at the VC corner, where they were on no man's land and they haven't been able to be identified.
We're now a bit delayed, but we're heading towards Lille city centre. We hope you enjoy our videos, and if so, please show your appreciation by simply giving us a like and a subscribe, as it's all free.
185 for diesel.
As we enter the very busy city, we are on high stress alert, with it being the first major city that we've been to. Yeah, we seem to have found ourselves in a big place.
Big boy pants.
Yeah, we've got our big boy and girl pants on. Stu's just said he is slightly cacking it, which is not exactly what I want to hear. And we simply watch traffic signs, and the sat-nav raises the tension levels.
You see, they're waiting, you see.
Yes.
So even though they're waiting, so that I'm pretty sure with it, there's a light.
If there's a light, yeah, we are.
The bit I'm unsure about is when a cyclist comes along, because in Amsterdam, my gut feeling is Amsterdam's going to be different.
Yeah, we just have to worry about that when we're in Amsterdam. You're going to have to go straight on.
Then turn right.
Straight on, straight on. The place that we want to park up is right in the centre, as this area looked a fascinating place to visit on Google Maps. Oh God, he's getting mad. Oh God, he's getting mad. Don't get mad. Oh, there's a lady. Oh, does anyone know what's going on?
You can't get in there. Is that why?
I don't know.
Is this only exit?
Tariffs. Oh. Just ask that. No.
Can't go in. Oh shit. Well, what's the bloody putting the point there then?
Right, you've got someone behind you as well.
They're allowing people off the thing.
That's bloody stupid. Oh God, okay.
Turn left.
They're going to have to turn around.
Did you tell them no, you can't get in, so they know?
Well, she'll tell them.
That's not helping me bloody stress.
Turn right now and then turn right.
And into the car park.
Okay.
So let's look for signs for a car park.
Okay.
It's because of this festival they're stopping people. Well, they should stop people
No,
turning in there.
absolutely.
That's what they should be
Yeah. Christ, the size of this town. I thought it was a little village.
No, it's London, this is. No, it's one down from London. It's one down from Paris.
Did you miss
See,
telling?
no, that's amber now. What does that mean?
What? That must mean you can go if you can go. Which he did.
You can go if you can go.
Yeah, like in the UK. So this is all we've got to see of Lille. That is a lot of bricks to get rid of.
So the challenge there was, we wanted to go to the centre of Lille, as it looked like some nice gardens and attraction, but there's a festival weekend, so there's only a couple of big car parks around that area. We get here and there's a fair on.
I think it may be, I could be wrong, but I think it's the biggest fair
or festival there.
That they have in France.
Yeah.
And they have it on the first Sunday, at the first Sunday of September.
So they were putting all barriers out and setting up basically, I think, for this weekend. And the first car park we pull into, and they're not stopping people pulling into that car park.
No.
But you get up to the barrier and then they're turning people away, so everybody's having to do a 180 degrees and get out. So having done that, we're then trying to find another car park over the other side. But again, we get around there. The problem is when you don't know the area, it looked like there was a height barrier, and we could work out how you could get out in and out without the height barrier being there.
So what you're saying is that you know how to get in there?
Well, I don't know. If you look on and drive past, it looks like you can go up there. No, you can't drive up there.
You said you saw...
The barrier. There's the barrier there.
That is a height barrier, but there's motorhomes, you're right, in the background.
Yeah, because we could see motorhomes in the car park. That was a weird thing, but we couldn't ever find a place.
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing. We could see a load of motorhomes in the distance. How Stu just went through that, I have no idea. Because it's not only that, it's a lot busier. And there was so much going on.
Unfortunately, I have got a bit of sense of direction, but...
Well, we might have to abandon.
That was Lille.
Some days you just don't need to fight when things go against you, so we make a controlled retreat. The thing we are pleased about is we haven't been beeped at all today. Yet. There will come a time when we are, but it's not today. And we head for a free park up south of Lille. And with the weather closing in, we just hunker down for the night.
So tonight's tea was a halloumi with a peri-peri mix on it, and then there was a salad with a dressing of olive oil, salt and pepper, lemon juice, lemon rind, and then boiled potatoes.
And we'll see you in the next episode as we continue to head east and discover more local history.